Hello, and welcome back to another episode here of Mayhem on the Mic. If you don't know us by now, which you should, but if you don't, I'm Sophia.
And I'm Kim.
And we're here for another episode, talk to you guys about mom guilt.
So that's I feel like we all have experienced that in some way, shape, or form.
I think that you know, it's just a part of being a mom. It's hard to transition into being like a mother and you know, kind of separating things that you do for yourself, versus things that you do for your kids. You know, like, do you separate the time? Do you make time for yourself? Do you not? I think culture plays a huge role in this.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I know that when I became a mom, obviously we were like teen moms initially.
Moms, yeah.
And then like, you know, it was different stages of my life being a mom. But I remember people telling me, like, once you become a mom, you forget, like, you put yourself to the side.
Right, your kids come first.
And then your kids come first, which is, yeah, that's true. But it can't be to the point where you're, like, beating yourself up because, like, you, like, aren't achieving certain...
I do feel, though, like, not intentionally, but it does... You kind of do fall back on the back burner a little bit when you have kids. Again, it's not like something that you intentionally do, but it's just the nature that comes with it because you became a mom. Now you have to take care of this whole nother little human.
Right.
So you kind of have to take a little step back.
So let's backtrack a little bit. So what is mom guilt? For those of you, maybe men, who have no idea what we're talking about.
They're probably like, what is mom guilt?
Because I think this happens to dads sometimes too.
Dad guilt,
I think that this could...
Dad guilt exists too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, mom guilt, for a lack of better words, basically feeling, you know, shame and that guilty feeling of maybe not doing enough.
Right. Or not even doing it right, being the right mom.
Am I doing this right? Like, I see moms that, like... I see moms on Instagram, you know, like not even in real life. Like in real life, I see moms like chaotic, you know, like, you know, it's like, yeah, everyone's trying to hold it together just like me. But on Instagram, and I think that for younger moms, it's like an illusion. That's not real. Like, I mean, for maybe some moms it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, social media, I think, kind of gives a different perspective
the norm a little
than what the real life.
Yeah. I think also, like, back in the day when you, like, our moms maybe, or like our grandmothers, the career aspect wasn't such a big thing.
Right, because they were home.
So they were homemakers.
They probably didn't really experience mom guilt because... They were really
and you know, maybe they did because, you know, I don't know. I feel like if you're constantly in the home and it's your job to make sure that all the children are fed, clothed, bathed, education, and then like one strays off and does something wild, and then you're like, where did I go wrong?
Right.
You know,
and that I can see what you're saying. Yeah, 100%. So I think that in that aspect, they may have felt it that way.
Yeah.
If their kids didn't really go the path you wanted them to, but it is very different nowadays. I feel like nowadays our mom guilt can go so many different ways.
Yeah. Because
women are just have evolved.
Right, and there's that super mom label. You know, it's like. You want to be able to do it all,
right?
But it's really just not. It's not possible,
right? And we try our hardest.
Yes, we absolutely do our best. And I think that even if you're just doing your best, like if you're just like you're working and the kids are getting food and like you're putting it may feel like it's in shambles, but it's still getting done. Like your kids are looking at you like you're wonderful and you're perfect. Like they don't know that.
Yeah, sometimes you feel like you're not doing enough, or like, you know, even if your kids play sports like ours and stuff like that, like you don't want to miss, even when your kids are little, like you don't want to miss certain milestones because you're working, because you have to go, you know, you're in school or whatever it is. And then when you miss certain things, and you're at work and like, let's say their kids are with a babysitter or daycare and they text you like, oh, they took their first step. You're like, oh my God, like I missed that. Yeah. So there's a lot of different guilt. Like
I think that I felt that a little bit like with my oldest because I was working a lot with her, and when she was younger, and then like as I had my other children, I was like, I think I valued like seeing that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes, even to this day, 3 kids later, I'm guilty of that. I feel like sometimes I even sometimes call you and I'm like, and you're like, you have to remind me, like, Kim, it's okay. Like, even my like family members and my mother-in-law, she'll tell me, like, Kim, it's all right. Like, you don't have to, it's okay you can miss a game, or it's okay that, you weren't there. Like, your kids don't love you any less. But I just feel like, I also feel like I try to be the other parent that my parents were, and try to be better and show them better. And, so I feel like I don't want to miss a beat, which I think I do a pretty good job at not missing a beat. And my kids see it and their friends always recognize it. Like, your mom, like, that's crazy, because we know for a fact she's going to be there. Like, she's the mom to go to. And it feels great because a lot of kids don't have that too. But it sometimes you just can't. Like, sometimes you just... I feel like accept it that you just can't be everywhere.
When it starts to get to the point where, like, you're developing anxiety and, like, you're starting to be so stressed out about trying to, like, do it all, that's where it really becomes a problem. Like, I definitely feel like there have been moments, for me, it's always cooking. Like, I want to get home and cook a meal.
Oh, girl.
But I don't always get to do that. So it's like, okay, so how do I manage that? How do I still feel successful at feeding my children and myself? Because,
I say that cooking at 9 o'clock at night when everyone's having dinner at 6.
I did the other day. I wanted to make these ribs for, like, I don't even eat ribs. I don't even eat ribs. Like, but for some reason I had this meal in my head that I wanted ribs, arroz con gandule, and macaroni salad. Yeah. Like, I wanted to make this meal for my family so bad. And I don't know why. I think it was like, the holiday weekend, and, like, I wanted to do this. So I had everything out, and then I got busy. And I couldn't cook that day. So then I put it back in the fridge. And then the next day I was like, okay, I'm going to make it this day. And then, like, that, it didn't happen again. And the second day I was like, I don't care what time I get home, I'm going to make this meal and everyone's going to eat it, and that's what I did. And it was 9:30 at night.
I feel like, and like you said, social media, like, sometimes even I look on Reels and I'm looking and I'm like, that's like so picture perfect. Like, how?
There's a woman on Instagram that cooks for her son, and it is the cutest thing. Like, the videos are like her cooking, and then his like response, like when he takes the first bite, and he's so, like, he's a foodie.
Okay.
So his reaction, and I'm like, I know she feels so fulfilled by his reaction, and so I feel like inspired to cook sometimes.
I feel like though, like, now that I'm home during the day, because I work usually overnight, I have more time. More so with my little one, right? Because now, when I was my 2 older ones, I was working and I was, like, all over the place. With him, I kind of have more of a set schedule, and I never was an overnight worker because I'm like, overnights are not for me. But having him and being so hands-on, like, me making him breakfast in the morning, it's like, oh my God, I feel like I'm doing the right thing as a mom, making him breakfast.
Right.
Being able to give him lunch.
Yeah.
And, make him certain things rather than just, like, have a bowl of cereal or drink a couple orange juice and goodbye. Like, and it's, like, stupid, like, weird little things, but it does feel good.
And I think that's okay.
Like, oh, I'm that mom. But
that's good. Listen. I think that's okay. I think that the guilt part comes in when it starts affecting your mental health, when it starts affecting the way that you see yourself, and
which
the way,
it can.
Yeah,
listen,
it absolutely
we all go through our ups and downs too, and it's not like, mentally, we all go through mental breakdowns, right? And not to say, like, it makes you, like, you're going through something, or what's wrong with her. Listen, being a mom is a lot. Being a parent, so. There's going to be those days where no matter what anybody tells you, you just don't feel like you've done your part.
Right. And I think it's important to recognize, like, it's okay to feel like feeling mom guilt is normal. It's natural. It can happen, because it can happen in any aspect of your life where you feel like maybe you just aren't hitting the mark on certain things. But when do we recognize and draw the line when it starts becoming like a negative thing for you?
Yeah.
So the anxiety, the depression, the isolation, the, sadness, all of those emotions, that's when we have to start saying, okay, like, it's too much. And I think that it can come from like the pressure of people around you.
Yeah, that's
you know, like culturally we come from, you know, moms are always cooking.
Right.
You know, I grew up in a home where we always have home cooked meals. So for me, that's like the norm, you know, there
Right.
should be home cooked meals. My kids ask for home cooked meals all the time,
too.
you know, so, or even, you know, just like being there for your partner and splitting your time. And I remember, my boyfriend works evenings. So I would get home from work. Here I worked like a whole day, and then I'm tending to the kids and we do the sports and we get home and then we eat, and I'm like, okay, I want to make sure the house is clean before he gets home. And it's like, he's getting home at like 12 o'clock at night or something.
Right,
and then I started to have like anxiety where I was like trying to clean as much as I can and like not even realizing like I was missing out on sleep now.
Right.
Because I'm trying to stay up and like make sure that the house is clean.
Yeah, and then you crash.
And right.
I'm
and
guilty
so
of
then
that.
he gets home and now I'm like dead to the world because it's late and I've pushed myself past. Like I'm burning the candle at both ends now just to try and feel like I'm doing all the things.
You're supposed to, that we're, you know, you're supposed to do.
That those expectations that other people put on you.
Right.
And you have to draw the line at some point. You have to draw the line. It's a part of taking care of yourself.
Right.
And self-care is the hardest thing for moms and even I'll say, you know, dads at times, but really for moms, self-care is really difficult because that is also makes us feel guilty.
Right.
I'm taking finances away from my family to do something for myself. I'm taking time away from my family to do something for myself. And there comes that guilt. I should be putting this into my family. I should be putting this into my kids.
I think also you have to realize it when not only does it affect you, but also now it's affecting you, but then it's being reflected on your kids too, right? So like now your patience with your kids is like, if you normally had it appear, now it's like this, I'm down to this little, you know, you're getting snippy with them or you catch an attitude because everything they do, like you start just yelling at them for every little thing. And sometimes I've caught myself sometimes because I'll get home and I'll be in a frantic and I want to have the kitchen clean. I want to have, like, I won't go to bed unless the sink is clean. The kitchen's clean. Like, I don't care. And I'm like getting up and I'm like screaming around the house, like, pick up this and pick up that and pick up that. And sometimes they look at me and they're like, why are you so mad? And I'm like, I'm not mad. It's just like, get it done.
Yeah.
But
well,
then
you're stressed out. You're
you know what
stressed and
Like,
you're frustrated.
I'm trying to do everything. I'm trying to pick up your brother. I'm trying to, my 3-year-old that for the moment he wakes up is the battery's on go. You know what I mean? Like, and then I'm in the room and then I'm like trying to clean up my room and clean up this. And my fiance's looking at me and he's like, just sit down.
But you can't sit down. There's too much to do.
Right. Like there's always something. And then I have to like, by 10 o'clock, I'm like, yo, I'm so done.
Yeah.
Like I don't even have the energy. I literally put my head down and I pass out.
Right.
And sometimes it's like, you have to then think about like, you know what? Damn, I was like actually really mean. Like I was yelling at the kids. It's not even the kids' fault. Like,
but
take a minute.
And
Kim.
that's what like that stress does to you. You
Right.
know? Stress and being anxious and stressed for an extended period of time will offset your hormones. You will literally put yourself into like a hormone imbalance.
Yeah.
And chemically, like your body is, your mind and your
All over
body,
the place.
everything is being thrown off.
Right.
So how do we cope with these feelings? You know, like it's okay to not get everything done. And I think that there has to be a huge level of support from our partners.
Right.
It's hard when you're in a single parent
'cause who do you really
household
go to?
because you don't really have another person to kind of pick up that slack for
Right.
you. So I think that comes with having grace for yourself, you know, being patient with yourself.
If you're a single parent or single mom, I think that, like you said, it's having that grace. And I think it also, since you don't have that go-to person, it's now depending on the circle of people you have around you too.
Right.
So now for that particular dynamic, it's the type of friends you have, type of people, the circle you have surrounding you, you know, like then that's who you go to get that breath of fresh air. So like, you know what, let me recuperate, let me just get it back together, let me put myself together real quick.
Yeah. You cannot neglect yourself to try to compensate for the guilt.
Right.
You can't do that because it's just like this vicious seesaw of negativity. You know, like we're not going to do that. So what are ways that we can cope? What are ways that we can deal and help offset that guilt? You know, it's almost like just creating the intention to not let yourself fall into that.
Easier said than done.
Of course. But I would say like the big marks on it is the self-care.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. You have to be okay for everything else.
Right. You have to take care of yourself in order for you to be able to take care of other people. It's like, you know, I was working with a client yesterday, and she put this into perspective for me. She said that she was flying, and like every time she would fly on, you know, go somewhere, they give you the instruction of the mask.
Okay.
So they always say, put your mask on first and then you do the child.
Right.
And so she asked the stewardess one day, she's like, why would you say that? Like, you know, like you have to take care of the kid first. And then the stewardess was like, well, if you pass out,
who's gonna help
or if something happens to you, there's nobody to help the child. So take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of the child.
Right.
And I think that if more parents start to do this, and we're not saying like, you know, go on excursions and like do all this, like, no, you can start. Obviously it's hard. There are some mothers that really put themselves to the side and neglect themselves for a very long time.
Yeah. And in every way, I feel like they lose themselves. Like even like your physical appearance, like even how you dress, even how like people, they just don't care.
I mean, it comes like, I've seen mothers say like, oh, I don't shop for myself because I feel bad spending on myself. You know, finances are tight. I'd rather give that money to my kids. And like, you're showing your children that it is okay for them to neglect themselves. And I don't know a mother out here that would tell their child that.
Yeah, no.
No. So we need to not do that. We need to put yourself together, take that time for yourself, get it together, and then I guarantee you're going to feel so much better just getting in there and taking care of the kids and doing what you have to do.
I agree.
And sometimes you have to start it off slow. Like give yourself 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, but schedule it. Like make it a thing, you know, like plan that out for yourself. Give yourself like 10 minutes where you just dedicate a day, you know, every day, 10 minutes for yourself, and don't feel guilty about it. You owe it. You
yourself a little bit.
You deserve to take time for yourself. You do.
Because you think about it, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, you're
serving others.
That's what you do. So who's
okay.
serving you? Who's taking care of you?
Yeah. You have to take care of you first.
You better than yourself.
Yeah, you have to do it first. And it almost sets the standard for how other people treat you.
Treat you as well.
Based on how you take care of yourself.
Right.
Like you have to do that first. And then I you know, and don't feel guilty about it. It is okay. I don't care what anybody tells you. So many people have been like, oh, your kids come first. Yes, my kids absolutely come first, but I'm going to make sure I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure I'm good.
Even if it's going to get your hair done, even if it's like, and I know that sounds like, oh, getting your nails done, but like those little moments.
Kim, even more basic than that. When was the last time you like did a bath soak?
I don't know. I can honestly say, I don't even think.
In your head, are you thinking, I don't have time for that?
Both. A little bit of both. I can say I honestly, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I really don't have the time to just sit and soak and be like, oh, this is relaxing, because I just don't. And when I think I do, it's just my 3-year-old runs in, or no.
Yeah, lock the door.
Like, he knows how to open it.
I can imagine.
He knows how to open it, but
I can't even use the bathroom.
Being that you even asked me that, it's true. I don't remember the last time I did that, like, at all. So that's why kind of like, per se myself, I've kind of caught myself to where, like, you know what, I need to feel good. Me.
I'm not even putting that on you, because I haven't either. Like, you know, like I haven't even, I feel like that's a luxury to be able to like
sit in the bathtub,
that's and
wonderful.
Just like soak. I think I did that during COVID once.
I don't even think during COVID I did that, because I was too busy at home helping with homeschooling.
I mean, I worked full time during COVID, but which was mom guilt. I worked full time during COVID. My kids were home from school, and
you were never home with them. One
of the hardest things was coming home, and it was like, you know, obviously everything was crazy during COVID when it first happened. I was working in a field where I still continued to work full time. I was exposed to patients every single day, and I would call my kids and tell them, all right, I'm coming in the house. So they would all go into their bedrooms.
Right.
And then I would come in and change my clothes and take my shower and then go and like prepare some food for them. And then I would put food out, and I didn't want to expose them to me. So I would lay the whole like thing out, like put food out for them. And then I would go in my room. Like we would eat separately.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was a horrible feeling, that I lost so much connection with my children. And I saw so many people staying home.
Right.
And I would feel guilty, and they would be like, Mom, why are you going to work? And everyone else's parents are staying home.
Yeah, they don't understand that.
They didn't understand that. And I'm like, should I stay home?
Right.
Like, am I doing the right thing?
I mean, during COVID, I was fortunate to be able to be home. I mean, I was pregnant for most of COVID, and then I was able to be home with the baby. So I was able to be home and be with my kids. But I did start working for a short time in the hospital, and even that, like you said, like, you know, at the time, my son was only a couple months old. Mm-hmm. So the same thing, coming home, you know, literally undressing outside because you don't want to bring anything in to a newborn. And at one point, I thought I had COVID. I got really sick. And I'm sitting here like, and I used to work far. Like, I would drive 45 minutes every morning and I used to go in at 4. So I had to be up from 2:30. Like, so I was missing that whole morning. And then when I would come home, not only did I have to go through that whole process, but now I couldn't go to bed because now the baby's up.
Right.
So I was exhausted, but during the day I would fall asleep and he's like, you know, crawling everywhere, and I would feel bad and feel guilty because I was so tired and so exhausted, and I couldn't take care of him.
Right.
That it was taking a toll on me, because even when I would go, like, late in the day, I would go to my son's games, stuff like that, my girlfriend's. I remember one day, one of my friends literally looked at me and she goes, Kim, you look, no offense, she's like, you look so drained, like you have not slept.
Yeah.
I'm like, I haven't. And that kind of like made me realize, like, I'm no good to anyone if I'm not okay.
Right.
And
That's true.
I was like, I can't. And I ended up actually I ended up leaving the position because I was like, you know what? If I can stay at home and be with my kids and get healthy again, because my immune system, everything went to crap. And my fiance was like, I don't know why you're killing yourself. Yeah. Stay home.
Yeah.
And again, I felt guilty because I was like, I want to be able to work. I want to do this.
It's like that double-edged sword, because it's like you want to be able to work and help provide financially, but you also want to be home so you can be there to take care of the baby. Yeah, and it's like, what decision do I make? Like, what do I do?
Right.
Like, what is going to, and in that aspect, like, obviously, you make a decision, you speak to your family and your partner, and you find out what's best for you guys. But you have to make the decision that you feel best with.
Right. I also think you can't compare yourself, right?
Yeah.
To other moms, other families.
How other families or other moms are doing. Like,
what they do that works for them doesn't work.
Stop that comparison.
So, like, if you're that mom where you're able to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner and cook them, you know, blueberries and like.
Oh, if you are a bento box mom.
Like,
I love you. Like, can you make me lunch?
Like, don't get me wrong, when I see it on Instagram, I'm like, oh my God, that's so cute. Like, little cute waffles. I know someone.
She's a baker. I mean, if you watch this, you know I'm talking about you. And she makes spring rolls by hand and like puts them in, and then the little
there goes that guilt when I see reels like that. I'm like, oh, I wish my kids.
No, I see reels like that, and I'm like, can someone make that for me?
I'm like, I wish I was able to make that for my kids. Like, you know, that's like so cute. And so I'm like, I don't have time to do all that. Like,
I tried the bento box thing. She inspired me. And I tried it, but it just rotted in my son's bag. And then I was like, this is a bad idea. This is not what we do. Yeah. I'm glad that works.
Right. But you know, that didn't work for us. Compare like how everybody handles and functions in their family or in their home. Doesn't work for everybody.
No. And we're not.
And you cannot feel bad.
Yeah. Like, we're not all going to be those like. I don't know, like the moms that match the pajamas. Moms that match pajamas are something else too. Like that's insane. Like the matching outfits. You do that.
So I do that.
You're an outfit matcher.
I do that.
Oh my
I do
God.
that for like holidays.
Yeah.
For like our pick family pictures, stuff like that. I do that. So for Christmas, all my kids know. My 19-year-old's like, really? I'm like, yes.
Even Halloween.
So Halloween, I do a theme every year where we all kind of
I am impressed every time. Every time I see it.
I do it every year.
I'm like, you do that.
For my kids' birthdays. Obviously, after a certain age, I stop. But like in their prime, I always do whatever theme it is. I get shirts made.
Yes.
Like, I just feel like it's moments. One, I didn't have that. I didn't grow up like that. I don't have any memories of that. So being able to do it with my kids, it's something different, teaching them a different thing. So one day, if they have their kids or not, they can continue that because those are pictures, memories you're going to always have forever.
Yeah, it's so funny because
it's a little time consuming.
I'm sitting here thinking, like, I remember when we were first going to start the podcast and your fiance was like, you got to get shirts made.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's so molded. Like, he knows, like, we need to be matching for this event. It is
I actually
big
just
event.
even for like my son's soccer tournament, I got shirts made.
Yeah.
And I was stressing because I'm so on top of it. And this, with everything, I've just been all over the place. And on Wednesday or Tuesday, mind you, we're leaving Friday, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I didn't get any shirts made. Yeah. I'm like, the baby's shirt, he outgrew that from last year.
Meanwhile, I'm the mom on the other end who's like, does everyone have underwear and socks? Did you pack underwear and socks? Okay, let's go.
Literally,
get the kids out, let's go.
One of the moms in the soccer academy, she actually knew a friend. She's like, I can call and find out. I'm like, literally in 24 hours, she can make me shirts. And she's like, I don't know. It doesn't hurt to ask. She called and the girl was like, yeah. She goes, no problem. I'll do it in 24 hours. I'm like, oh my God, you're the best. I had my shirts for my soccer tournament this weekend. The baby had his shirt. My fiance had his shirt.
There was no mom guilt to be found. The shirts were there.
I give you that. If I'm determined to do something, I do try my best. And this weekend was also actually a test for me because I had to pick and choose, right? My oldest son was playing and I was away with the little one. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to miss this game. Like, it's such a big game. And my mother-in-law, before I left, she's like, Kim, it's okay. Yeah. Like, He's 19.
Yeah. That's actually like our last point is talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, Kim, you've been to every game. And I'm like, but is it an important game? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And then she was like,
they're all important.
She's like, Kim. And I'm like, she goes, focus on the little one. And I'm like, oh. So as we're driving back from Virginia, I'm like, I called my oldest before earlier in the day and I'm like, get ready, focus. I'm sending him motivation text and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'll call you before the game starts, whatever, fine. And then during the game, one of the photographers that takes pictures, he's updating us as I'm on the road. And I'm like, oh my God, thank God I don't have to ask anybody. Like, they're letting me know and I'm keeping up with the score. And as we're in the car, I'm driving, I'm like, I felt so bad not being there.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, you know what? It's okay.
It happens.
I said,
and it's okay.
I can't be in two states
he knows that you're not just like...
And I said that. I said, I'm there in spirit.
Yeah.
And I'm there. And he's like...
Well, he also knows you're not like just sitting home doing nothing.
Right.
I feel like if you were just sitting home doing nothing and you just chose not to go and then you felt guilty, I would be like, as you should.
But I guess because my own expectations once the moment I became a mom, I set my own expectations.
Yes.
And I've worked, I feel like, for 19 years. Mm-hmm. I've made sure I fulfill that. And I've done that with my 12-year-old and now with my 3-year-old. Even my fiance tells me,
common.
He tells me, he's like, you are so like in your way. Like, and I was like, and I will be that way with every child that I have.
Yeah.
That was something that I promised myself that I was going to be. And sometimes I got to take a step back and just, it's okay.
And you realize when you talk to people about it and you're like, oh, I need to get this and I need to do this and I need to do this. Like, I talk to girls at my job sometime and they're like, oh, what do you have planned for this weekend? And I'm like, you really want the list?
Yeah,
because like I know I need to like check all these boxes for myself so that I can feel accomplished.
Right.
And like get my week off like with my head start for the week. Like even, with us, like the holiday weekend, I was like, I knew you were going to be away that weekend. Out. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to get us ahead on like,
And I even felt bad about that because I'm like, all right, remember I told you, I'm like, I knew you felt bad
because then you like got on the gram and you were like, I'm like, hey, look at her trying to compensate for it.
I felt so bad because the whole time I'm like, like, I have 7 hours to just do whatever.
Meanwhile, I was just trying to like get us ahead and help you out, because you helped out the week before because I was sick and I couldn't come through on it. Oh my goodness. So we're like in this like teeter-tottering, like, oh, I got to do for her. No, I got to do for her. And it's like, all right, chill out. We're good. We got all of our bases covered. Yeah.
Without even realizing.
But I think like talking about it absolutely does help you realize that like, you're not the only one going through it. It is super normal. You're doing a great job. Like, you're covering all the bases.
You're doing the best that you can. And sometimes even talking with your kids can make you feel better too. Because sometimes they'll look at you like, Mom, it's fine.
I have to say, like, sometimes my mom would like talk about like things that she wished she did differently. And I was like, Mom, when I became a mother, I just thought to myself, like, I'm perfect now. Right. Because that's how I viewed my mother. Like, and here she was like so down on herself for things that she wasn't able to like do for us. And we were looking at her like she was perfect. She was great. Like she was doing it all. Yeah. For us, So it's like, talk to your kids and you'll see that they see you so differently than how you actually
talk to them and explain certain situations. If you're going through something, if it's financially, if it's whatever, like there's a reason for everything. Yes. And they may not understand it, and because at the end of the day, they're kids, even teenagers, they don't know. Like, they're just being a teenager. But if you explain it to them too, they'll kind of understand like why you feel that way or why you're doing things are happening a certain way. So now you don't feel as bad, like I'm like providing them this perfect house or this white picket fence, and because I'm not gonna lie, my image, like I'm so determined to like, this is what I want. Oh, it's like when you become a mom, it's like that life that you want to provide. That's my set. Like this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna get it. And sometimes I feel like with my oldest, I feel even more guilty because he taught me how to be a mom, and he went through all the trials and tribulations with me, and it's like now the other ones get to reap and get the easy road, and it's like, I sometimes wonder if he feels some type of way. Now that I think about it. I told you that happened with my oldest, right? I recently, I transferred my daughter's school, and I told my oldest, like, it's a really good district. And I apologized to her, and I was like, I'm sorry I wasn't able to give that opportunity to you. And she looked at me and she was like, girl, please. Like, I was like, wait, what? She was like, no, you're overthinking it. And I was like, I remember I had a breakdown too with my oldest. I remember I called you, texted you. I was like, I'm crying. And he then posted, was it for Mother's Day? I think it was. It was like before Mother. It was like, and like random. He did like this, I think it was for my birthday. I don't even know. It was for my birthday. I don't even remember what it was. No, it was like random. He sent me something. He sent you a message. It's like if he knew, because it wasn't even. It was very random. I think Mother's Day was like the following week, and then he posted. And I took a screenshot and I sent this. I'm like, Sophia, look. And I was like, literally in the moment that you were so down on yourself. I was. And we were here, like me and our friends were just like trying to support you. And you even like came and spoke to us about it, which I think is a great thing. Like, because we were able to see that you were a little bit down and out. Yeah. And then he just. On his own, he saw it. Your kids see, they can tell when you're little. And I guess because he's not so as out there emotional, like he's very to himself. So I always feel like, okay, is he all right? He doesn't care. Like he doesn't appreciate me. He doesn't love me. He doesn't because I'm like, gimme. And he's so not like that. You're so needy. He's so not like that. We were just talking about that. Don't be so needy. Yeah. But I also have to realize, every child is different. Like my 12-year-old is the complete opposite. Yeah. But then he did something like that. And it's like, you know what, Kim, it's all right. You're not perfect, but you've done everything for this boy, what you can. And I tell you what, I pat myself on the back. Because I feel like I've raised a very good gentleman. Yeah. So. And that's all you need to do. Do your best. Yeah. That's it. Not somebody else's best. No, your best. Your best. What is within your abilities, your limitations, your finances, whatever it may be, your emotional state. You do your best, and your kids are going to love you for it. And they, a lot of times, don't even know all the extra stuff. And they don't need to know. The hoops that we jump through and all the things that we do to, like, make things happen. I think my daughter, now that she's in her 20s, she sees. She's like, Mom, how did you even do that? Well, as they get older, they see it. They start to see it. Yeah. But I feel like, also just, like I said, they don't have to know every little thing. Let them be kids. Yeah. Be patient with yourself. Take time for yourself. Go for a walk. Start going to the gym. Like, Listen.
Talk to your friends. Tell them.
Yeah.
Or like your random like coworkers or something. And trust me, people are feeling the same way. Moms are going through the same thing.
What you'll get in return.
Yeah. They're gonna be like, you're doing too much.
Yep.
You know?
Take it easy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And we have some new things coming up for.
Couple things coming up, yeah.
Couple things coming
Exciting.
up. Yep. Father's Day is coming up in the month of June. My birthday comes up in June.
Your birthday.
So we're finishing off. Getting
May,
into June.
May was hectic and
May
busy.
was hectic. We made it.
We made it through on
all the events were attended.
Successful.
All the birthdays were celebrated. I know we spoke about trying a new restaurant for your birthday. We did that. That was fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
And now we're in June. We're heading into June and
start off fresh.
More things to tackle. We are in the summertime here in New York.
Yeah, we're ready for that.
Which is our favorite.
I know, I love summer.
Yeah, Kim is already tanned.
I got a little head start.
And making me look ghostly here today. But that's okay. Maybe I have some.
You'll catch up.
Yeah, I got some soccer games to go to, so we'll see.
Sit out there.
Yeah, I'll get out there and get set. No, I got to do my skincare. Got to do the skincare. Girls, do not neglect your skin. Wear your sunblock, guys, too.
Yeah.
Put your sunblock on. I'm advocating for that right now. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna. That sums up for today.
On that note,
we're gonna get into some goodies.
June will be very exciting, so stay tuned. Look on our page, our Instagram, Mayhem on the Mic.
We're going to have some...
our YouTube. We're going to be posting a few things.
We're going to be posting some new things, some different content for you guys.
Just keep an eye out for that. We will love also to interact with everybody, so just let us know.
If you've experienced the mom guilt, if you found a great way to overcome it, and you have some tips and tricks for us, go ahead and send them to us. We would love to continue to support all of you, as well as
through this mom guilt journey.
Guys supporting us. Because even coming up here and taking the time to do this, we take time away from our families and time away from our children to come here and talk about these things because they matter. They matter. Everything matters. We want to be able to reach you guys and let you know you're not alone.
Yeah. I mean,
we are not alone.
We're not alone. You're not alone. We're going through it. And if we can get personal with it, I mean, why not?
So follow us, Mayhem on the Mic, on Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. Mayhem on the Mic. And I don't know, give me more. What are they?
Send us an email.
Mayhem on the Mic podcast at gmail.com. And Latino Mixx.
Latino Mixx Radio.
All right. We'll see you guys there.